As soon as the first motor vehicle was ever created, I'd imagine that somehow, somewhere, some goober was already trying to put a gun on it. And pretty quickly he realized that you can, really easily. This led to many iconic motorized weapons, including the Panzer, the Humvee, the Jeep, the Spitfire, and apparently a Camaro? Is that right?
Yeah.
Commonly known as the Ghost Camaro, this Camaro could handle almost anything thrown against it. And despite it being American muscle, it actually has its roots in a very different part of the world. Welcome back to the Iconic Cars series. My name is Julian. I hope you enjoy the show. Alright, so little bit of backstory first. I just really got into detail learning about this war today, so if I get anything wrong, please let me know below. I know there's some things I don't understand. There were 3 countries, Serbia, Bosnia, and Croatia. Bosnia was in the middle of these 2 countries, so it had a mix of people from both sides, plus a bunch of Muslims thrown in. Problem is, instead of considering themselves Bosnians, the Serbs considered themselves still part of Serbia. The Croats, Croatia, and the Muslims were terrified and stuck in the middle of it all. After the end of the Second World War, Bosnia, who until then was considered the lesser of the 3, was put on equal footing with both Serbia and Croatia. And until the 90s, many of the citizens tried to put aside their differences for the good of the country. Well, they did until Serbia and Croatia rang in the 90s with bullets and bloodshed. My hair's all messed up from that mohawk last week. This caused the different groups to feel an allegiance to their homelands. Tensions began to rise higher and higher until in 1992, there was a vote for independence given to the people. Most of the Serbs actually boycotted the ballot while the Muslims and Croats voted in favor. Unfortunately, it was nowhere near unanimous, with roughly 65% of the country voting in favor. And since this was practically half and half, there were some pretty heavy disagreements. To make a long story short, war broke out and it got really messy really fast. Now, I bet you're wondering, what does this have to do with the bulletproof Camaro? Well, if you keep listening, you will find out in just a second. Like all wars, civilians received the worst of it. So much in fact that the one thing I knew about this war before learning about it in detail for this video was the Bosnian genocide. It's so horrible that everyone knows what that is. Roughly 100,000 Bosniak Muslims and Croatian civilians were murdered in cold blood. In fact, supply trucks had actually become a target because they were so slow moving and brightly colored. But a little known fact is that the civilians had a rather unusual guardian angel. Now, this guardian angel wasn't a man with a spear and wings. No, this angel was different. This angel was a hulking, multi-ton beast whose nitrous snorting V8 screamed through the night like a banshee. This angel had paint that was so black that not even infrared cameras could pick it apart from the darkness. Bullets were ineffective. It seemed to drive right over landmines like a ghost, and it became a beacon of hope for any civilian that saw it. This angel was a 1979 Camaro. This aptly named Ghost Camaro was a bizarre mix of American iron and modern military technology. Obviously, this car was not fresh off an assembly line in Detroit. Many changes had to be made to convert it from an everyday street car to a war machine stationed in both the front lines and deep in enemy territory. Now we're going to start with everyone's favorite, the engine. Believe it or not, the engine started off with a stock 1979 Chevy small block 350, making roughly 185 horsepower. In order to carry out its mission, the small block was tuned to 220 horsepower. However, the Ghost Camaro needed to go even faster. So the driver, more on him later, did what any self-respecting hot rodder would do when they need a quick speed boost. He installed a nitrous kit, which, in situations that called for it, pushed the engine to over 440 horsepower. I can't even imagine the pull. That's like a real-life Fast and the Furious movie, except, you know, it's real. Now, obviously, a strong engine can only get you so far. If a Camaro is going to survive a battlefield, it's going to need some serious body modifications. The car was completely stripped down and bulletproof plating was added in the doors, the fenders, and pretty much everywhere else. More plating covered the back seats and the bottom of the car, and a giant sheet of metal replaced the rear and side glass completely. Because, well, in this case, protection was a lot more important than being able to look over your shoulder as you back out of a driveway. Besides, I'm pretty sure the side mirrors would do for now. If it comes down to me accidentally getting shot in the back of the head and a minor fender bender, I'm gonna choose the fender bender. The car was also fitted with a front ram bar and a low splitter that acted as a minesweeper. And for some reason, the driver opted to add a little duck in the grille, which is decidedly a really stark contrast to its super aggressive styling. In jungles, dirt roads, and destroyed asphalt, everyday tires simply won't do. Heck, even off-road tires probably wouldn't be able to handle the terrain. But this was quickly taken care of. The Ghost Camaro was fitted with 4 run-flat tires, which allowed the driver to keep moving in the event of a blowout. These run flats were built with some extra support around the rim, so when the tire was out of air, it wouldn't just fall down on the rim and grind to a halt. And for those of you saying, my car has run flat tires, this is in the early 90s. They aren't as common as they are now. Basically, one way to tell if your car has run flats or not is basically, did the brand new car come with a spare? If it didn't, it probably has run flats. In the extreme event of emergency, the car came with 2 spares. Now, what really makes this car interesting is all the super military technology it's got crammed into it. Since it operates mainly at night, it makes sense that this car would have night vision as well as heat detection. That's right, this car could see in the dark. And if you got too nervous, it could see all the heat radiating off your skin. This car's basically Knight Rider. I actually don't even know how the car night vision works. Like, I couldn't find anything about it. Like, is it just a camera, or is it like the ones from Cars where it's like a special windshield? Or I don't know. It's probably a camera. I can't imagine giant car-sized night vision goggles. I don't think the army would go for that. Possibly my favorite part of this car that really not only makes the car look so much more aggressive, but acts as an active camouflage, is the paint job. Now, I know what you're thinking. That just looks like a primer black paint job. That doesn't look special. The car's covered in this stuff. And yes, on the surface, that's what it looks like. But it's useful for 2 different reasons. 1, the car mainly operates at night. So to the naked eye, it's just a black shadow that's kind of hard to see. But it's way more high tech than that. The coolest part is that this paint job is probably illegal. Now, I swear I'm telling you the truth. This paint job made the car invisible to radar and infrared imagery. I don't know exactly how it works, but the fact that it's invisible to what I'm pretty sure is another word for thermal imagery, that's crazy. I didn't even know that was even possible. How many coats of paint does it take to hide a 300-degree engine? This paint job actually earned this Camaro its nickname, the Ghost Camaro, because that's exactly what it was. It's a ghost. You think you'd see something in the middle of the night, you check your radar, and you see there's nothing there. Then you look back up and it's gone. That sounds horrifying. It also had a radio to contact air support if need be. On top of all this, the car had room to carry 400 kilograms worth of food and aid to civilians. Even with all this weight, this car was able to reach a speed of 120 miles per hour in less than 13 seconds. On a regular car, that's not that impressive. A lot of SUVs can do that, but this is at least a 2-ton muscle car running on a carbureted engine that's able to do that while carrying 400 kilograms of supplies. That's insane. It's not setting speed records, but it's getting the job done, and that's what was most important at the end of the day. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, what crazy son of a gun would drive this into battle? Well, let me introduce you to Helge Meyer. Helge. By the way, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. I have no idea how to say Danish words. Meyer was a Danish Special Forces officer who was stationed at the Rhine Air Force Base at the start of the war. Now, when I say this dude was brave, this dude had a huge set down below. Basically, it worked like this. Dude saw the supply trucks were getting blown up. After realizing it was because they were too slow, he thought, what if I made my muscle car bulletproof? And then he went looking for the USA commander. He walked up to the US commander in Bosnia with a plan so bold and so strange, it had to work. And believe it or not, it did. I don't know what he said to convince this commander guy to fund this plan, but the dude probably a great motivational speaker, that's all I'm saying. Before long, he had a team of army engineers helping him with his plan. I'd imagine it wasn't too hard to convince them either, because by army engineers, they mean they were 18 to 25-year-old kids. Probably thought that, what if making a bulletproof Camaro would probably be the coolest thing in the world? This war was over 10 years after that Camaro came out, so I'd imagine that a lot of them grew up with this car too. And if you think that's impressive, wait to hear this next part. Meyer never carried a gun, ever. Like he did when he was in the Special Forces, but in his missions in Bosnia, he didn't carry a firearm of any kind, not even a handgun. He went out with 3 things: some light body armor, his Camaro, and a Bible. This guy was literally on a mission from God to help others. So earlier when I said he was a guardian angel, I meant he was literally a guardian angel. Naturally, all this led him to getting the super awesome nickname of God's Rambo. And he wasn't all talk no walk either. This guy was involved in countless chases, bullets pinging off his car's armor, one even hitting his helmet. stopping millimeters from his brain. And none of this even came close to phasing him. With his knowledge of back roads, perfectly timed nitrous shots, and sheer determination, this man did nothing but get the job done. He selflessly put himself on the line so others could go another day without starving. All in all, his life turned out to be an action movie. And honestly, I'm surprised I haven't seen Hollywood make a movie about this, because this is incredible. After the war, he went home, and you better believe he took his car with him. And the US Army was so cool about it that they let him keep everything except the paint job. So now, the car is painted a bright orange. He sprayed the car orange, said goodbye to the US Army commander, and went home, where he still lives to this day, enjoying a happy retirement. I guess some stories really do have a happy ending. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys giving me the time of day. If you want to support the channel, you can like, comment, subscribe, and shop on the Amazon link that I put down in the description below. You don't have to buy what I link, just, anything from there. I post videos like this every week, so why not check them out? If you like this video, it's part of a series, which I will link right up here. I make analytical videos like this every single week, so why not consider subscribing or check out the rest of the channel? I'm sure you'd enjoy what you see. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.